Good day everyone. In this presentation, we'll walk you through the legal framework that governs drug-related operations in the Philippines, focusing on RA 7438, RA 9165 Section 21, and the chain of custody rule. These laws define each operational stage, from arrest to courtroom evidence presentation. I'll present a processing map, highlight compliance checkpoints, and identify common violations that can critically affect prosecution. The successful prosecution of drug offenses in the Philippines depends almost entirely on the scrupulous adherence to three intertwined legal provisions: RA 9165, especially Section 21 on evidence, the chain of custody rule, the procedural backbone, and the RA 7438 protecting the rights of the accused. These laws govern distinct phases of the operation, from the initial arrest through the presentation of evidence in court, with non-compliance in any stage posing a catastrophic risk to the case.
Stage 1. The initial encounter and constitutional safeguards, RA 7438. The moment an individual is arrested or placed under custodial investigation, RA 7438 is immediately triggered. This law, which supplements the Bill of Rights in the 1987 Philippine Constitution, mandates that the arresting or investigating officer must inform the person of their fundamental rights in a language or dialect known and understood by them. The core compliance requirement is the proper non-coercive advisement of the right to remain silent and the right to competent and independent counsel, preferably of their own choice. Any deviation such as questioning the suspect before counsel is present or obtaining a confession through intimidation or force constitutes a direct violation of RA 7438. The consequence of such violation is served under the exclusionary rule or the fruit of the poison tree doctrine. Any confession or admission obtained illegally is automatically rendered inadmissible in court. This makes the prosecution job exponentially harder even if the suspect is factually guilty, underscoring the legal principle that the ends do not justify the means.
Stage 2, evidence integrity and documentation, RA 9165 Section 21. Upon the seizure of dangerous drugs, the operation interns the phase strictly governed by the Section 21 of RA 9165. This provision is the governs anti-planting measure intended to shield the evidence from contamination, substitution, or planting allegations. The law requires two major steps to be executed immediately at the place of the seizure or the nearest police station.
The seizing officer must immediately place the item inside an evidence bag and fix his initials, the date, and the place of seizure. This establishes the crucial first link in the chain of custody. Number 2. Mandatory inventory and witnessing. The physical inventory and photographing must be conducted in the presence of the accused and 3 impartial witnesses. A representative from the Department of Justice or DOJ or a prosecutor. Letter B. Unelected public officials. Example, barangay captain. Non-compliance with the mandatory witness rule is the most common procedural gap, while the law permits non-compliance under justifiable reasons such as urgency or lack of availability. Law enforcement must provide a credible and persuasive written explanation in the sworn affidavit detailing the earnest efforts made to secure them. The failure to do so creates a procedural gap that casts reasonable doubt on the identity and integrity of the corpus delicti, often leading to acquittal because the prosecution fails to prove the fundamental elements of the crime.
Stage 3. Continuity and accountability. The chain of custody rule. The chain of custody rule is the overreaching procedural system that tracks the evidence from the moment of seizures until its presentation in court, ensuring its integrity remains uncompromised. Number 1. Seizing officer's custody. The seizures immediately marking an execution of the inventory as covered by Section 21. Number 2. Turn over to the investigating officer. The seizing officer turns over the evidence to the designated investigating officer, documented by a receipt. Number 3. Turn over to the forensic chemist the personnel and promptly delivers the evidence to the PNP crime laboratory. The chemist must document the item's condition upon receipt, sealed or unsealed, before performing the mandatory qualitative examination. Presentation in court, the forensic chemist or the evidence custodian securely stores the substance until trial and testify to its unchanged condition. A failure to document and transfer the security of the evidence between any of these steps constitute a broken chain. The strategic consequence of a broken chain is that the court cannot be certain the substance tested by the chemist is the exact same item seized from the accused. This lack of certainty is fatal to the prosecution's case, resulting in the exclusion of the evidence and probable acquittal due to the inability to prove the corpus delicti beyond a reasonable court.
In conclusion, the processual stage are a minefield of procedural requirements. Diligent and observing RA 7438 protects the constitutional rights of the suspect, while strict adherence to RA 9165 Section 21 and the chain of custody rule protects the evidence, thereby demonstrating the legal accuracy and strategic coherence.